Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be part 27 of my global company tutorial series. If this is what you're looking for, please stay tuned. Alright folks, welcome to what I believe will be my final part of global company, at least for now. I'm sure I will add more in as we go, but we're going to take a look at a couple of mods today. So the actual names of these mods, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll take a look at them here. So we have global company animals. Under global company, we're going to take a look at this later. This is its own mod, the Trioliet feeding system for $185,000. But the ones we're going to look at first here is this one, the GEA feeding system. This is the GEA Stall, $300,000 to buy. It's a 2,000 capacity cow pasture barn. So we're going to look at that first, then we're going to look at the rest of these in here. So let's take a look at this. So this is a cow pasture. This is an endpoint for straw bales, if you want to put straw bales in. This right here is the cow trigger, so I can put cows in and out of here. In here you have the loose straw trigger, if I wanted to put loose straw in, and you also have the loose feed trigger in here as well. You also can put bales in here, I should say, for feeding as well. So this is where you feed them. This is their feed trough. Out here we have the milk. Right here, this is the milk output. Over here we have the slurry output right here for you, which it'll show up perfect. And then as far as everything else goes, we have water input right here, which actually we'll go ahead and just add some water in. So there you go. This checkered area is more for helping you with the next part. It doesn't actually have like a trigger or anything, but we'll take a look at that in a second. So then we have the manure here. So we have a manure pile there. That's where you can get your manure out. So it works as a cow pasture. If you want to use that as it is, you can. This whole mod pack does require global company, which I have installed. If I open up the menu here, there's nothing that's going to pop up in here in this episode. So if we take a look under global company animals, we have a couple of different feed mixers. So we have the feed mixer here. This will mix stuff up and get it out to your animals. Then if we move along here, we got the belt feed for forage. So this will give them forage. We have a feeder for hay, and this also does silage as well. So a few different ones. We're not going to look at the maize plus ones. We're just going to look at the other ones here. So if I take a look at buying this, so this thing here, it's a big chunk of a lot of stuff going on. I could tilt it around and do what I want with it, but this is how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to fit into here. So let's show you this a little bit. So this checkered box is right here. It should fit on these nicely. It's right in there, right just like that. Then if I place that right there, I hop out. We have this set up right here. I can open the door for it. A couple of mixers, which we'll talk about that stuff later, but essentially it puts in, that's actually a little bit of distance from there. You probably could adjust a little bit more. As you can see, it's a little off, but it's designed to kind of sit inside the shed like this whole bar that goes through. Now, I have it placed like this. I will say that it does not actually matter where you place it, as long as it kind of is near the cow shed to a certain degree, and I'll explain that a little bit more later. But let's get this out of the way here. Now let's grab a trailer here. This one might be a touch longer because there's a lot to this one, just a lot to explain. But I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So we have 3 inputs here, which I don't believe they're labeled anywhere I can notice, at least, but we actually can go in here if we want to as well. So basically what's going to happen is this feed cart here is going to get fed by these 3 hoppers. One is for silage, one is for hay, and one is for straw. So if I hit R to open up this menu here, grass and hay, so I guess it does take grass as well, silage and straw, which we're going to go over this menu in a second. Let's get everything filled up. Let's check the grass. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Now there's a lot of maize plus stuff that's kind of in here, so you can just ignore all that. Let's try grass and see if it's going to take it anywhere. Allow you to use that in your feed. There we go. So if I hit I, I'll go ahead and put 12,000 liters of grass in here. And as you can see in the back there, it's slowly filling that up. There, that makes it so you can see it a little bit better. So we get 12,000 liters of grass in here. So that first one's grass, and I'm not sure what each of them are because they're not super well labeled. But again, if you just back up to them, it'll only let you put it in the correct one, obviously. So okay, and let's fill this up with straw as well. Beautiful. But not that one. So that one's probably silage. Let's go ahead and get to this far one over here. There we go. I want it to take straw. We'll go ahead and put 12,000 liters of straw in, and then we will add in 12,000 liters of silage. Once that gets emptied out, should be just a second here. Perfect. Now we'll fill this up with some silage. There we go. Back this up into there, and then we'll put 12,000 liters of silage in here. And again, if I go Control G, there's nothing in here. This whole factory doesn't show up in there. And again, if you want to download this mod or any of these mods we talked about, they are all linked down below in the description, along with Global Company. They're all Mod Hub mods, so they're probably available other places, but on the Mod Hubs where I use them. So again, well, close enough to 12,000 on all of those. If I hit R here, so now we have, it tells us what all of our bunkers are at here, which is fantastic. So this is just basically what bunker 1, 2, and 3 used yesterday in total consumption. So that's just a statistic thing. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now we need to work on this side here a little bit and start talking about some of the different things here. So basically what this is an automatic mixing and feeding system. So if you put the ingredients for TMR in, it's going to mix them and feed them all automatically the way you set it to. So if I go into the menu here, the cows don't have any TMR whatsoever. They have some other stuff in here, but we go R. So first we can adjust the time. So if I want to do one feeding time, let's say, what time is it? 12:10. Let's say I want to feed at 2 o'clock. I can go ahead and set this to 1400 hours, which is 2 o'clock. Let's say I also want to feed them at 7 in the morning, so I can change this into, 7 or 8 or whatever. And you can adjust all of these, and if they're checked, they're going to have a feeding time there, or if they're unchecked, they're not. We're just going to leave that to 1 for now. Now down here, this is a little bit more interesting. We'll actually come back to this one last here. So down here is the mixing ratio. I know some of the stuff's a little bit different or not translated, so if it's wrong, it will let you know down here, but you can adjust it. And I don't know if you can maybe just crank the straw up and see if you... Oh, see, there you go. There's a max. I haven't tested that. So max 30% straw. I could do... Let's see what the max is on the hay. Max is 30% hay, so then that would mean we need to do 40% silage, which in my opinion is the most expensive thing. Oh, there we go. That one can't be less than... What was it? Less than 50%? Oh, less than 40? Oh, wait. Okay, so there you go. Can't be less than 45. So 45, what do we got now? 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 105%. So let's lower this down since straw is the cheapest. And there you go. So now it's all going to work. So it'll give you a minimum and max on those there as you go through. So you just kind of have to work it. This is probably one of the cheapest ratios you can make. If that's at its minimum, that's at its max. And then you're filling in the extra with that. So that's probably one of the cheaper ratios you can make. So that's what it's going to use. But I'm actually going to set it a little bit different just so we can actually see a little bit easier. We're going to do 25, 25, and 50 there. So it'll be 25% grass and hay, 25% straw, and then 50% silage. Now, if that does take grass and hay, if it already has grass in it like we put in, you can put hay in without any issues. I have tested that. Now, let's see how much we want to feed them. Let's say we want to feed them 10,000 liters. So 10,000 liters. So if I leave this at 0%, that's at 10,000 liters. It is going to take 10,000 total liters out of this, and it is going to add it into their TMR here automatically at that feeding time. So what that basically is going to mean, it's going to use 5,000 liters of silage, 2,500 liters of straw, and 2,500 liters of hay based on our ratios down here in the quantity. Now, obviously, if we look in here, this is going to take far more than 10,000 liters of fill. So I have a couple options here. Now, if I'm slowly going to have different... Now, I would recommend actually setting this a lot higher and putting a lot more feed in, obviously, for the amount of cows that we have. But let's say that just in case it needs more, I can do this here. So, and it won't ever overfeed them. So if you have too much entered into here, it will just feed the max and call it good. But let's say I want to kind of manage it a little bit differently than that. Let's say at 2 o'clock when it rolls around, obviously they're going to take more than 10,000 liters. Let's say I want them to also take So if I set this to 50%, for example, this is more need feeding. So what this means is if they do need it, it will take 10,000. It will take up to 50% more than 10,000 liters. So right now in this setting, it would take 15,000 liters in there if it required 15,000 liters. If I did just 10%, it would take 11,000 liters. That's 10% of 10,000. Now, if I did go back up to, let's say 100%, it would take 20,000 liters in there if it needed, which how much should we even have? We probably have enough to do that, but let's go ahead and set it down just to 50% just to see. Or actually we'll do, yeah, 50% will be fine. So it should take a total of 15,000 liters. So we have 36,000 liters effectively in here. So it should be down to, oh, what's that? 15,000 plus 6,000 should be down to 21,000 liters when they're done. So at 2 o'clock, it's going to do the feeding. So I'm just going to fast forward time just a little bit to kind of demonstrate this. We're getting close. I'm just going to lower it down here. And in 5 seconds, we will see what happens. As long as it works. I have had some issues with it not working for some odd reason. Oh, it is working. Okay, there we go. So normally it makes a noise. So as you can see in the back here, we'll go look back here. It's taking out what it needs to there. And you can see that number going down. So it's all very well animated and very, very precise, quite honestly. Then it's going to come over here, get what's next. There it goes. You can see everything's animated going out the back there. Fantastic. Gonna take a lot of the silage there. It doesn't seem like that there should be 2 liters left, but anyhow, we'll let it do its thing. We'll see how much total it ends up taking out. Perfect. That's down to 8250. So there we go. And now it's gonna go back over here, mix, and then if they actually go in here, we can watch it actually dump the feed out. So currently it's mixing. As you can see in there. Now it's good to go. Now once it gets out here, let's see if we duck down a little bit more. Going to start throwing the feed out, which it is slowly filling up the feed now, you can see in here. So we'll see how much total it actually fed. Theoretically speaking, it should have given 15,000 liters, but we'll see here in a second how much it actually did. But anyhow, regardless of how it's doing, I mean, it's automatically feeding the cows for you. And still going up there. Yep, still going up. So it probably did 15,000 liters, but we'll see here in a second. Or at least pretty close to that. There it goes. Should be done. Yeah, it did darn near 15,000 liters, 14,996. So pretty much what our ratios was set and everything like that. Not maybe exactly, but yeah, so it works out pretty well. And again, you can adjust all of that in here. Now, this whole system in here is the basis how the rest of this is going to kind of look. Now, I'm actually going to go into the garage here and I'm going to sell off the feed mixer. I'm going to get rid of that whole thing, take everything with it. Now, the next thing we're going to look at in here, so we just looked at the feed mixer, which is 190,000 device. This system is expensive to set up, but for 2,000 cows, it's probably going to be worth it. Now, we have the belt feeder hay and the belt feeder forage. So if we take a look at the belt feeder hay, it's got an interesting setup here. Oop, I don't know why I am... Well, my screen has somehow glitched out, so I'll bring you guys back in a second. All right, we're back. So I don't know what was up with that. I think it had more to do with my computer or something else along those lines. I don't think it had anything to do with the mod, to be quite honest. But anyhow, feed mixer. Now we're taking a look at the belt feeder for hay. As you can see, now we're not glitching out. So as far as I can tell, and this one snaps, which is a little bit trickier. As far as I can tell, this seems to want to go, seems to make sense to put this like in here, maybe-ish. We'll try that, see how that looks. So, yeah, brackets are almost on the wall, looks like. So, yeah, not too bad. And this, again, just is going to work very similarly, except it only does hay and silage. So it's only going to satisfy that feed requirement. Out here, all you'd have to do is put some in. And again, you do have to drive into the pen for this. Is there even a gate? I guess I should say. I don't really see a gate even. Can you go in this way? Oh yeah, you could drive. I mean, that would be very convoluted to drive into here and then drive out this way into the pasture. But regardless, that is kind of where it seems to fit. There's probably a better way to do that, but I didn't see any photos or anything that would help me out in that. But essentially, if we go up to it and hit R, it's got the same setup, except you're only going to be doing hay and silage. Everything works the same. So you just come back up to it and you can put hay and silage in, and the cows can climb on it, I suppose. Anyhow, all right, we'll go back into the store here, or the garage. We're going to go ahead and sell that. You get that out of the way. Okay, and then I might have had something to do with me. I don't know. Anyhow, I could guess all day long. But then we go to the belt feeder for forage. Now this one, again, very similar. This one actually looks like it would make sense to go right here or something along those lines. Maybe not. Where's the display screen actually going to read off of? That's actually reading off of there, so that's kind of a little bit different here. Maybe if we did the far side, there'd be a space to put it. I guess that would make sense there a little bit, but regardless of where you put it, it will work. So I've done things like this as well, and I've tested this, and this does work for all of them. If you just have it like this, this will feed them just fine. So you could do that if you wanted to. It doesn't look great, but you can feed them that way if you want. I would recommend just using the TMR mixer, since that's what's going to give you the best productivity anyways. But if we go into here, forage, it's just the same setup as the hay one, except it's doing forage out. So going back into here, and again, there's 2 Maize Plus options, which I'm not going to go into any detail on because this is not a tutorial in Maize Plus. Now, the final thing is this guy right here, which this actually might work in this position here. I haven't tried it. I mean, it's not going to look great. Yeah, it's not going to look great, but I could do this anywhere, though. Again, it's just going to work very similarly. If I put this in here, hop out, let's go take a look at this guy. This guy works very similarly to the other setup we had. Does this open? That does open. 3 garage door bays. Now, if I come in here, hit R, it's the same similar setup in here. So basically, it's going to do what you need to get done. It's just a different setup. This mod is separate, so it's just if you wanted something that looks a little bit different, it might fit with what you're doing. Yeah, the only thing I can't really show you a whole lot about is how to get it to not look nice into here. But I will say that this does work. I have tested this, so unless they update something. But as far as I'm recording this right now, it does work. I tested it just a few minutes ago. So anyhow, guys, that is part 27 of my Global Company tutorial series. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on your screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you all for coming and watching.